All right, so it is 1 o'clock and I'm going to get started. My name is Kristen Fleming and I am the Education and Training Coordinator for the Alzheimer's Disease Caregiver Support Initiative. We are located at the Center for Neurobehavioral Health at SUNY Plattsburgh, and we have a grant from the New York State Department of Health to provide services to caregivers of anyone with any form of memory loss or dementia, not just Alzheimer's disease. And we do that in 6 counties. So we do that in Franklin, Clinton, Essex, Warren, Washington, and Hamilton counties. And we do it through 6 different service areas as well. So the first one is education and training. Right now we're offering all of our education virtually. I'm also available to do one-on-one educational presentations. If there is a topic that we offer that you missed one of our webinars for, I'm happy to do that. We have memory cafes, which are social events for caregivers and the person they're caring for. A lot of times these will be, we'll hire an entertainer, a musician, a painter, someone to come in and teach chair yoga. We'll have snacks. It's a really fun afternoon, and we are working on offering those virtually as well. We do support groups, which right now we're all happening over a conference call line, and we have 6 of those that we offer each month. Then we do care consultations with a care navigator, and they are really individualized meetings where you can talk about what's going on in your life, what you need help with. The care navigators will connect you to our services as well as other community agencies that can help you out as well. And lastly, we have something called, 2 more things. We have Project Lifesaver, which is a wandering service. So it's a bracelet that your loved one would wear. And then let's say you go to the bathroom or you go take a shower or something like that, they're napping, you come out of the bathroom, they're gone. You don't know where they are. You look around the yard, the neighborhood, you can't find them. You call the sheriff's department, and they have a big wand that they wave in the air and are able to locate your loved one based on that. It's actually a nationwide service. So say you're on vacation in Florida, you could call the sheriff's department down there. They'd be able to help you out. It's a really wonderful program. And then we also offer respite, where we pay, it's a limited amount of hours that we would pay for someone to come into your house and care for your loved one. So you can go out to lunch, go grocery shopping, visit your friends, go to church, go to your own doctor's appointments, whatever it is that you need to do. And again, that we have a limited amount of hours available. So it's not meant to be a full-time 40 hours a week kind of a situation, but just so that you get a little bit of a break. So that's a little about our program. And today I'm here to talk to you about finding meaningful activities. So let me pull up my PowerPoint. And let's see. The first thing we're actually gonna do is watch this short video. Let me pull that up.
What's the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia? Perhaps you've been confused by these terms in the past, or mistakenly thought they were the same thing. Well, you wouldn't be alone, because knowing the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia
can be tricky, but it's actually not too hard to understand. In a nutshell,
hold on. Were you able to see the video? I don't think I was sharing the right screen. Thank you for your patience.
What's the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia? What's the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia? Perhaps you've been confused by these terms in the past, or mistakenly thought they were the same thing. Well, you wouldn't be alone, because knowing the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia can be tricky. But it's actually not too hard to understand. In a nutshell, it's like the difference between shortness of breath and asthma. Shortness of breath is not a specific disease. It can have many different causes, and asthma is just one of them. Likewise, dementia is not one specific disease. It's a combination of symptoms that has many different causes, including Alzheimer's disease. Still sound a bit confusing? Okay, think of it like this. You go to your doctor with shortness of breath. To find the cause, she listens to your chest to see if it's due to asthma or pneumonia. And then she checks your heart to see if your breathlessness is caused by heart failure or a very rapid heartbeat. She even asks if you've been worried in case your breathing difficulty is anxiety related. After her examinations, she concludes that your shortness of breath is actually a nut allergy. Similarly, when dealing with dementia, your doctor needs to figure out the underlying cause. And while Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause of dementia, it's not the only one. Dementia can also be caused by vascular changes in the brain, Parkinson's disease, Lewy body disease, vitamin deficiencies, thyroid gland problems, chronic brain infections, or medications. Even a very deep depression can sometimes look like dementia. Which means if someone you love has dementia, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have Alzheimer's disease. And that's very important for your doctor to establish. Because some causes of dementia, such as infection, medication reactions, an underactive thyroid gland, or vitamin deficiencies, can be reversible with the right treatment. So figuring out the cause and a plan of action could improve your quality of life. And that's why, if you or your loved one have the symptoms of dementia, you need to see your doctor to find out the underlying cause.
Okay, so dementia is the loss of thinking, remembering, reasoning, or cognitive functioning. There's also a decline in behavioral abilities that affects a person's daily life. Everyone loses neurons as they age. However, people with dementia will lose these neurons at a much faster rate. And dementia is common as people get older, but it is not a normal part of aging. In order for a person to be diagnosed with dementia, they need to have 2 or more core mental functions impaired. These could include language, memory, visual perception, or the ability to focus and pay attention. A person must also have a loss of brain function that prevents them from doing everyday tasks. The causes and symptoms of dementia can vary depending on the form of dementia that a person has. Dementia can show itself in 2 ways. It can resemble a medical condition where once a condition is found and treated, the memory problems will go away. Those include things like hydrocephalus, which is the buildup of fluid in the brain, side effects from medication, vitamin deficiencies, thyroid, kidney, or liver problems, head injuries, drinking too much alcohol, or depression. Or it could be a neurodegenerative disorder for which there are no cures, and these all cause progressive, irreversible decline in memory and behavioral abilities. Some of the most common neurodegenerative disorders include Alzheimer's disease, which is a progressive disease that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills, and eventually the ability to do the simplest tasks. It's caused by plaque and tangles that build up in the brain. Vascular dementia is the second most common form, and these symptoms are very similar to Alzheimer's disease. However, it has a different cause. It's actually caused by damage to the blood vessels that carry blood and oxygen to the brain. Often this happens because of strokes. Lewy body dementia is the third most common form of dementia. It's caused by abnormal deposits of protein in the brain. This protein is actually called Lewy bodies. These cause a problem with the chemical balance in the brain, causing a change in mood, thinking, behavior, and movement. and frontal temporal dementia, which is the fourth most common form. It's actually caused by neurons dying in the frontal and temporal lobes, which are right here by your forehead and over on the sides by your ears. And this causes a person to have difficulties with thinking and behaviors controlled by that part of the brain. Now we're going to get into planning activities. Just as we all enjoy doing activities and the meaning that they can put into our lives, so does a person with dementia. However, a person with dementia could have difficulty planning an activity on their own, or they could feel overwhelmed. So doing activities with people with dementia can help bring up memories from the past, and by using past interests, you can help put meaning into the activity. Also, by doing activities with the person, it allows them to continue to be part of the family and the community. It's important to treat them like a person with dementia. Really focus on person-centered care. Always speak to them like they're a person. Don't talk like they're not even in the room. Some people will say, what is the point of even doing an activity with mom or with grandma? She's not going to remember it anyway. It's important to focus on the feeling, how a person is feeling while they're doing the activity. The positive feelings can continue throughout the day, even if the person's not sure why. And activities actually improve everyone's quality of life. And people with dementia are no different. When planning an activity, think of what the person is currently able to do and be prepared to modify an activity to meet the person where they're at. Activities can help maintain the skills that they currently have, and when a person completes an activity, they have a sense of accomplishment. Remember, it doesn't need to be done perfectly, and activities can actually help with caregiver stress because the person is busy and stimulated doing something. If they're doing it together, it can help with emotional bonding. And if the person with dementia is able to do it independently, it can help to give the caregiver a little bit of a break. So here are some things to think about. Try to do activities that the person with dementia used to enjoy. Even better, try to do ones that you used to enjoy doing together. Keep in mind you may have to modify the activity so he or she is able to do it with you. Assessing the person's skills can allow you to change activities so the person is able to do them. It's important to make the activity something they can do. However, make sure it's not too challenging or not too easy. Gotta get that Goldilocks just right in the middle area. Try to do games based on interests. Again, you might have to adapt them to fit where the person with dementia is currently at, and make them feel successful. Even if the end product isn't as perfect as you feel it should be, focus on how the person felt while doing the activity more than the end product. Keep the activity simple by giving only a few choices. So you might say, do you want to paint with the red paint or the blue paint, rather than providing 15 different paint colors for them to choose from. That could be overwhelming for a person with dementia. And keep the noise and people in the room while you're trying to do the activity to a minimum. Otherwise, it could be overwhelming and distracting for the person with dementia. Sometimes you'll need to verbally tell the person how to do something, give them step-by-step directions. But depending on the activity, you could show them and model side by side what they should be doing. Or you could even help hold their hand or hold like a pen over their hand and move with them to show them how to do the activity. Manipulative objects are small objects that generally need to be sorted and placed together. So these could be blocks or puzzles, different things you could organize into little containers. And doing these activities can help the person with their fine motor skills. Or you could do an activity, when you're planning the activity, you want to make sure you're doing it during the time of day that works best for both of you. And when the person with dementia is going to be the most willing and agreeable. So a lot of times that tends to be in the morning when they've gotten plenty of rest the night before, after they've had breakfast and gone through their grooming routine in the morning, and they have a little bit of free time. That's usually the best time to plan an activity. And try to match the activity with their mood. If they seem to have a lot of energy, you could go for a walk. If they seem to have some focus, you could do a puzzle or an art project. Keep the work area safe. Think of things that a person with dementia could hurt themselves on, especially cords or things on the floor that could be a tripping hazard. And keep the area well lit and uncluttered. Don't be afraid to try something new to see if a person's able to connect with it. However, it is important to have other activities in mind just in case the person does not care for the activity. This could be a good time to bring in some favorite activities that you've done in the past and you know they enjoy and do well with. We all benefit from, and most of us enjoy having a daily routine. A person with dementia is no different. As a person progresses through dementia, they will start to rely on others to help them organize their day. Having things planned can allow you to spend more time doing the activity rather than trying to come up with something to do. Also, having a plan could save on frustration for both you and the person with dementia. When making a daily plan, you should think about the person's current likes, dislikes, strengths, abilities, and interests, old routines that the person used to have. Think of how the person functions at different times of the day and plan activities accordingly. Allow plenty of time for eating, bathing, and dressing, and keep a regular sleep schedule. This really helps to have bedtime and waking up time at the same time each day. Keep the plan flexible. The person with dementia may not want to do much one day, or other things could come up that interfere with whatever activity you had planned. And the person's abilities will change over time too. So you want to have a plan, but then be adaptable. Consider writing your plan down too. This can help you see when maybe there's a time of the day where you have too much planned, you're overscheduling the day, or a time where you have too much downtime. Now we're going to talk about some ideas to try. Staying physically active is really great. As a caregiver, you can help the person with dementia stay active, but keep in mind they might not be able to do a full 30 minutes of exercise at one time. It might be better to break it up into shorter 10 or even 5-minute sections. So instead of going for one 30-minute walk, you could go for 3 10-minute walks. You could help get the activity started and join the person so it's more enjoyable for both of you. Not to mention the activity is good for both of you too. Morning time is often the best time to get exercise in. And remember that your loved one may need a break to break the exercise into simple, easy steps. Wear comfortable clothes that are appropriate for the weather, especially if you're going to be outside, and make sure you have the right kind of shoes as well. And so some things you could try are taking a walk, simple tasks around the house, gardening, dancing, exercise videos. There's a lot of really great even chair yoga or other chair exercise videos that you could do on YouTube. You could throw a soft rubber ball around or use resistance bands. So going out, I know this is a little different in the time of COVID, but going to the park, the mall, a museum, theater, picnic, grocery shopping, or the library. Those are all good things to do, get you out of the house in a new scenery. You are going out to eat. You want to go on a good day with your loved one. Go during a quiet, slow time, often earlier in the evenings, like 4 p.m. before the dinner rush is a good time to go. Bring items from your home you may need, including any medication, and talk to the waiter about what you might need. Tell them, you know, I'm here with my loved one who has dementia. So ask for a quiet area in the restaurant. If you're going to be traveling, maybe visiting friends and family out of the area, talk to your doctor and try to get some help so that you're not going alone with your loved one. Know where your important documents are, your driver's license, medical insurance, anything like that. Bring comfort items, maybe their favorite slippers or favorite blanket to help them feel more comfortable. Bring an extra family member or friend if possible, and plan extra time. It's going to take you a lot longer to get from one area to another, so you don't want to be rushing trying to catch a train or a plane on time, plan plenty of time to get you there so you're not stressed. Again, don't plan too many activities. A lot of times a person with dementia is going to need a lot of rest in between activities, so take things slow and try to follow a similar routine each day. Keep familiar spiritual activities as well. Tell people in your faith community about the dementia. A lot of times people really do rely on their communities for helping them through these difficult situations. And a lot of times I've heard of friends connecting through church and offering, oh, I can go for a walk with your mom and that way you can get a little bit of a break. Or I can bake a casserole and drop it off to you every Tuesday night so you don't have to worry about cooking dinner. And play familiar spiritual music as well. There's a lot of great songs on Spotify or on YouTube you could listen to. You can watch the religious channels on TV. I know for my great-grandmother, and she loved watching Mass every day on TV when she was getting to the later stages of her disease, because she could really connect with it. She could still sing hymns, and it was really important to her to stay connected to her spiritual practice. It can also involve children or grandchildren. Keep in mind the best time of day for both the person with dementia and the child. There's no reason why children can't be involved in some activities planned for the person with dementia. They could sit down and do arts and crafts projects together. This will help with focus for both the person with dementia and the child. They can sing old classic songs together, enjoy doing puzzles together, depending on the age of the child and the abilities of the person with dementia. That would determine what type of puzzle you should give them. And depending on the age of the child too, they can help care for their loved one with dementia. It could be as simple as letting them go and get a drink of water for their grandmother or whoever, and help them spark new conversation, give them ideas of things to ask their grandmother or grandfather about to spark the conversation and get them rolling. As a person progresses further into the disease, many times people will stop visiting or start visiting less and less. Pets can help keep the person company and don't care if the person doesn't remember their name or hasn't showered recently. If you already have a pet, the person with dementia can play with the pet, talk to it, brush it, feed it, take it for walks, or simply allow it to sit with them and pet it. But if you don't already have a pet, it's not necessarily the best idea to go and get a new pet. You as a caregiver will not have as much time and ability to take on such a big responsibility of caring for a new pet, and your loved one might not adapt to the pet as well as you thought that they might, or it could take longer than you originally thought. So instead, you could try to visit with other people who have pets or invite them over. Before you do that, ask the person with the pet about the temperament and how they handle strangers. But also look for therapy animals in your area. They're often very well trained and well behaved in public. If you don't feel like your loved one is comfortable around animals, don't push it on them. Instead, you could try watching birds and squirrels out the window. I've also heard of people using these robotic pets, either cats or dogs that purr, they have a heartbeat, they move, and people with dementia do really respond well to them. Memory books are another great idea. So these are completely individualized and can be done in whatever way makes sense for you and your loved one. They could be put together in a notebook with some pictures. You could get some of those plastic sheet protectors to go over it as well. Colored paper, tape, glue, and family pictures, things from past events, maps, ticket stubs. When you're making a memory book, try to keep the most current or recent events out of the book, as the person may not remember those, as well as things from the past. If you have a lot of 3D items too, like ticket stubs, maps, you could put them all in a box together rather than a book. You are having visitors. You want to plan for the best time of day for them to come and ask them to bring along an activity, maybe the old photo albums they can look through, or they could plan to go for a walk or listen to music together and sing old songs. And beforehand, you want to give the visitor some of these tips. Remind them to be calm and quiet. Don't speak to the person like a child. Make eye contact and use his name when speaking to the person. Respect personal space. Don't get right in their face. And don't argue with the person with dementia. This is so huge. A lot of times we'll want to correct a person with dementia. They might say something like, I want to go home, or where's mom? Well, their mom may have passed away 10, 20, 30 years ago, or they've been retired for the past 40 years. And our gut reaction is to correct them and say, well, you don't go to work anymore, or mom died. And then they have to go through the grieving process all over again, because this is brand new information to them. They really don't remember. So instead of arguing with them or correcting them, a lot of times we recommend just going along with it. We call it therapeutic fit. So if they say, I want to go home, say, well, we're going to stay here for dinner, and then we can see about going home later. And just redirect them and distract them. Or if they say, I want to go to work, you can say, well, it's Sunday. You don't work on Sundays. Doesn't matter if it's really Tuesday. Whatever it is that's going to comfort them and be a little less anxiety inducing for them is the best way to go. And don't take things personally. If they don't remember your name or they say something that upsets you, they're not trying to do that. It's the dementia speaking. It's not anything that you have done. Memory jars are similar to the memory books. You could have family and friends help write down memories and stick them all in the jar. You could also fill it with things the person likes, pictures, drawings, candy, and it can be a really fun way to spend an afternoon going through the jar and reading the activity, or reading the little notes and saying, oh, don't you remember the time you took Sally fishing? Or don't you remember we had such a good time on our wedding night, dancing until the sun went down. Things like that they'll remember. Again, you want to focus on things that are further back in their memory, because people with dementia do tend to remember those best. They could also help you make a meal. Decide on what to make together, maybe an old family recipe, make the dish. They could help you measure, mix, and pour the ingredients, or they could even tell you how to make the dish. Taste the food, lick the spoon, and even just watch you sitting at the table, watching you make it could be a good way to spend an afternoon. Household chores are another activity that a lot of times people don't think about, but we all want to feel like we're contributing to our household. So they can help wash the dishes, set the table, make a meal, sweep or vacuum, clip coupons, fold laundry, all of those things. And again, you don't need it to be done perfectly. It's okay if it's not done up to your standards. You can always go back later and fix it, but you want to praise them and encourage them for trying. Gardening is another great activity, especially this time of year. You can have indoor and outdoor plants, plant flowers and vegetables. You can water the plants when they need it, weed the garden. Talk to your loved one about how the plants are doing. Really just spend time outside in nature. Music and dancing is another great activity. You could play CDs or records, especially songs from the past that they really enjoyed listening to. Talk about who sings the song, ask what they were doing when the song was popular, talk about the music, sing and dance together. You could even watch a video online of a concert or musical program, or turn it into a game. And I have another video here that I'm going to show you that really shows the power of music.
have one resident that barely opened her eyes. She didn't respond. As much as I tried, I knew her for 2 years. No matter what I tried, massage wouldn't work, nothing worked. But when we got introduced to the iPods and the family told me the things that she liked, it was amazing once we put the iPod on her. She started shaking her feet. She started moving her head. Her son was just amazed. Okay, can we stop? Because now I'm getting all I'm seeing her all over again.
Papa. Hi, Papa.
Huh?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm fine. Wait.
Who am I?
I don't know. Wait a minute. I don't know.
Okay, it's Cherry.
How long has he been in the nursing home? Approximately 10 years. He was having seizures, and my mother couldn't handle him at home. Of course, it affected me greatly because he was always, fun-loving, singing, every occasion he would come out with a song, no matter where he was. I remember as a child, he used to walk us down the street, me and my brother, and he would stop and do Singing in the Rain. He would have us jumping and swinging around poles. He was, he was good. He was always into music, always loved singing, dancing.
His name is Henry Dreyer.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking more or less for religious music for him. Because he enjoys music and he always quoting the Bible. So I'd rather have that for him.
We first see Henry inert, maybe depressed, unresponsive, and almost unalive.
Henry.
Yeah?
Henry.
Yes, sir.
I found your music. You want your music now?
What's up to you? Okay.
Let's try your music, okay? And then you tell me if it's too loud or not.
Then he is given an iPod containing, we know, his favorite music. And immediately he lights up. His face assumes expression. His eyes open wide. He starts to sing, to rock, and to move his arms, and he's being animated by the music.
And he used to always sit on the unit with his head like this. He didn't really talk to much people. And then when I introduced the music to him, this is his reaction ever since.
The philosopher Kant once called music the quickening art, and Henry is being quickened. He's being brought to life.
Yeah?
I'm going to take the music for 1 second, okay? Just to ask you a few questions. Okay? I'm going to give it back to you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The effect of this doesn't stop, because when the headphones are taken off, Henry, normally mute and virtually unable to answer the simplest yes or no questions, is quite voluble.
Henry,
Yeah?
do you like the iPod? Do you like the music you're hearing?
Yes.
Tell me about your music.
Well, I don't have one,
Do you like music?
Yeah, I'm crazy about music. You play beautiful music, beautiful sound. Beautiful.
Did you play music when you were, did you like music when you were young?
Yes, I went to big dances and things.
What was your favorite music when you were young?
Well, I guess, Cab Calloway was my #1 band guy I like.
What's your favorite Cab Calloway song?
Oh, I'll be home there for Christmas. Oh, you can count and plan on me with plenty of snow, mistletoe, present wrapped around your tree. Ow!
So in some sense, Henry is restored to himself. He has remembered who he is, and he's reacquired his identity for a while through the power of music.
What does music do to you?
Give me the feeling of love. No man. Figure right now the world need to come into music, singing. You got beautiful music in. Beautiful, oh, lovely. And I feel the band of love, dream. The Lord came to me, made me holy. I'm a holy man. So he gave me this sound. So they say, I meet you. And say, Rosalie, won't you love me? Rosalie, won't you be sweet and kind?
With this beautiful new technology, you can have all the music which is significant for you in something as big as a matchbox or whatever. And I think this may be very, very important in helping to animate, organize, and bring a sense of identity back to people who are out of it. Otherwise, music will bring them back into it, into their own personhood, their own memories, their own autobiographies.
So that clip actually comes from a longer documentary called Alive Inside. It's on Amazon Prime. And I just love seeing the transformative power of music for Henry in that clip. I think it just goes to show how amazing music can really be for someone with dementia. I have just a few more activity ideas. So the power of touch. This can be really important for a person with dementia to feel secure. So giving them a back massage or even just massaging their hands with lotion, giving them a manicure, shaving their face, combing their hair, all of those things can be really powerful. And even using sensory blankets or dolls to feel different textures and touch. Could also have activity kits that are already prepared, ready to go in a box or in a bag. And some things you could include are matching and sorting activities, puzzles. They make a really good puzzle. I think it's from the Alz store, ALZ store.com, and it's a 6-piece puzzle. So it's really easy for someone to put together. Knot tying is another good one, especially for people who used to be Boy Scouts or sailors. Clay for molding, foam quilt patterns they could sew together. They make little toolkits and toolboxes, little things that people can kind of fidget with, especially this is good for men who used to work out in the garage a lot. There are activities you can do with letters and numbers or cutting things out. Cutting out coupons is a great one. Coloring books, and bingo is always popular. Everyone seems to love bingo. So that is the end of my presentation. I do want to say that normally I do this presentation in person and I bring this book. Here, let me get out of the PowerPoint so I can see my face. So I bring this book that I give out. It's called Color Your Mind, and it's actually written or created by Maria Shriver, who is a huge advocate for dementia and Alzheimer's. And it's the coloring book for those with Alzheimer's and the people who love them. And I just love this because it has really big, beautiful pictures. Some of them are already colored in. And it doesn't have, like a lot of adult coloring books have really small, intricate things to color in. It has much bigger pictures to color in. And then another book that I normally give out is this book here that's activities to do with your parent who has Alzheimer's. Now, it doesn't just have to be for your parent with Alzheimer's, it could be for your husband. The person who wrote this book, Judith Levy, she actually was a caregiver for her mom, and that's why she wrote it this way, but it has hundreds of different activities that you can try. And it has a lot of really great ideas there. So if you are interested, just let me know. I can mail you these books here. I also have some activity kits that have, I think each one has 4 or 5 different activities in them, different coloring books, puzzles, games, things that you could do with your loved one. But again, I can either mail them to you or drop them off at your house, whatever is easier for you. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. You can give me a call after or shoot me an email, and we can figure out the best way for me to get those to you. Anyone has any questions or comments? I left some time at the end here. You can either type them into the Q&A box or the chat box. I see a few comments. Saw a video about Alzheimer's. Okay, so it does look like the videos were working. That's great, great feedback. I'm new to the Zoom webinar platform. I've been doing them on the Zoom meeting. So this is my first time doing it with a webinar. Thank you for your patience. So it's similar, but it's a little different. I'll just wait another minute or two to see if anyone else has any questions or comments. Oh. The other thing I forgot to mention too is I can give you all a printout of my PowerPoint slides too. I can either mail out a paper copy or email them to you. And that way you have the ideas from the PowerPoint too. Normally I'd bring handouts, since we're not meeting in person. I'm happy to send those to you as well. Well, if there are no questions, thank you very much for attending this PowerPoint or webinar presentation on finding meaningful activities. I am doing another one next week that I believe is, July 6th, on a different topic. So if you would like to attend that, feel free to either send me an email or give me a call, and I'm happy to send you the link to register for that as well. Thank you for attending. I hope you all have a great week and happy holiday weekend. And I see or hear from you soon. Take care.